starting to do workouts. If you're going to do some running in the pool, a hydration belt is great. A journal. You can make your own journal. We give them out with the training program. I just make up a kind of a crude, a handmade one. But keep a journal, and you know, your phone isn't always the best in your computer because it doesn't tell us things like how you're feeling, how much sleep you got, what's the temperature, what's the humidity, what was the terrain. Some of the programs do, but a lot of the ones I see when I'm trying to figure out an injury, I'm not getting much Sherlock Holmes information there. Shoes. If you're training long distance, particularly in a moist environment like Charlottesville, you get about 300 miles in long distance training. Wait a second, Mark, I thought it was 400. That's if you're doing normal kind of recreational running, 4, 3, 5 mile type runs. You start getting up in the double figures, your shoes are going to wear out quicker because you're putting that much more force on them. It isn't that you're out there for 10 miles. A 10-mile run isn't like 3 3-mile runs. It's more like 15 or 20 miles worth of running, like your shorter runs on those shoes. Some folks, when they're doing long distance training, they'll have 2 pair, one that's completely refreshed each week, and they just use it for their long run. Am I trying to hawk shoes? No, I'm trying to get you to understand that that is the most important piece of equipment. Don't talk about it very often, and many of you have been around me for years. No, I try not to talk about it too much, but my gosh, it's so important. And I've been seeing a lot of people lately where their shoes just flat out dead. I've only had them 3 months. Yes, but you wear them to work. And then you run in them. It's not fair to the shoe to think it's going to last longer. So switch up your surface. I love the fact that we have all this soft surface in town here. I think it's great. We got the RTF. You can go out to Ridge Road. You can go out to the Reservoir Road that goes out to Camp Holiday Trails. They're very hilly. But get on soft surface. Come up to the magic carpet here. It's 3 laps to the mile. That's the magic carpet. It's the community loop on the outside here. It's fantastic. I like to see, if your primary race is on hard surface, I like to see 50 to 60% of your weekly running on hard surface, and then some of the rest in the pool if you can. And remember, running in the pool, that equates, it's a 1-for-1 deal if you go hard in the pool. So if it takes you 50 minutes to run 5 miles on hard surface, 50 minutes in the pool, it's 5 bonus miles. So 3 laps to the mile out here. You can come inside the track when it's open to the public. I highly recommend staying on the outer lanes. It's better on your hips. The soft surface, about 20 to 30% of your total weekly mileage. Now, if your race is a trail race, I mean, you got to flip it. You got to do a lot of your I just had a bunch of my marathoners want to do an ultra marathon, want me to write up a program for them, and they were surprised at how much trail running I had. to say, well, where's the trail race? I mean, where's the ultra marathon? It's not on hard surface, so. Okay, hills. So we complain about hills so much. If you just pick up your knees going up a hill and either focus on something ahead of you, focus on the ground, focus on a telephone pole up ahead, on the shoulders of someone if you're in a race, whatever works best for you in that focusing department, it's your own gig. But I'm unforgiving in the fact you got to pick your knees up. If you don't pick your knees up intentionally, feel like you're picking them up, you're gonna go up that hill a lot slower with a lot more work. So pick them up and use your arms, use that upper body. Here comes that core again. Downhills, you're gonna really take that 3-degree lean and take it seriously. Now, you don't want to do this in your training every single day in pounding down a hill, but certainly in a race or a workout, just kind of trying to get out over the edge of your feet, really good for picking up the pace. When to hydrate? Well, you know, a 3-mile run, you probably don't need to drink during the run. But you start getting up to 5 to 6 to 7, especially in weather like this, you better be hydrating. You're getting up to 7, 8, 9, 10, you better be thinking about some kind of electrolyte replacement. We've got this clinic going on today. I think most of you guys know about it. It was kind of coincidental that the two came together, but I said, yes, this is perfect. We're going to be giving away all kinds of free sampling. And the guy who's running the clinic for it, one of our employees, he knows this stuff backwards and forward. You got to experiment. What you like may be something that someone else hates. What works for your system. How often? I always recommend about every 45 minutes that once you start, you're getting into these longer runs, these 8, 9, 10 mile runs, that you go about every 45 minutes. 40 minutes, 50 minutes is kind of pushing it, where you would take some of this electrolyte replacement, goo, gel, whatever. And remember, you're burning about 100 calories a mile when you're training long distance, so you got to replace that. This notion is I don't want to get any calories when I'm running. That's the bonking, is you've depleted your calories. So you can't just drink water. Now throughout the day, if you're guzzling Gatorade, eeks, you're gonna get a beer belly. So that has a lot of calories in it. But as you're depleting the calories, you know, people poo-poo the sports drinks so much, but those things have a lot of really great things in them. I know they've got the sugars. You have to be careful, again, experimenting, but the sodium, potassium, magnesium, all those important electrolytes that are leaching out of your body, you got to replace them. So very, very important. Okay, so I'm going to rush through really quickly the steps of a run. Okay, so when you get up in the morning, or whether it's in the afternoon, well, let's talk about morning. How many of you run in the morning? Yeah, good. Okay, so the ones that run in the afternoon, this may not apply, these first few things, to you quite as much, but when to wake up. Every year, there's always a few rookies that come out to our group runs, and they've gotten out of bed just in time to get in the car and come out. Guess what they have to do about 20 minutes into the run? Okay, so you got to get up earlier. You got to get up earlier. It sucks, I know. You go to bed earlier that night before. No Fridays after 5. Sorry. If you're going to go to Fridays after 5 and you have to get up at 4:30, which is about when you have to get up, because to get to a location to drive for a group run, and you want to be up about an hour, I know, it stinks. I can already hear them mumbling. I get it. But for me, once I learned, I was that guy who got up, first few group runs I did 35, 40 years ago, got up, went out of bed, met my friends, in about 15 minutes in the run, I'm like, where's the porta-john? There isn't one. So get up early, get yourself in. You're going to get a ritual, how much to eat, whether you want a little bagel, a little bit of banana, a little bit of yogurt, but drink when you get up because you're dehydrated when you get out of bed. A lot of us roll or massage before we run. No stretching. Watch that static stretching. What to wear? Don't forget the 15-degree warm-up rule. Whatever the temperature is outside, your body's going to perceive 15 degrees warmer. So if it's 40 degrees, don't put layer upon layer on, because very quickly you're going to feel 55. If it's 60 degrees, you're going to feel 75. And right now it's in the 70s. You're going to feel almost 90 once you get running. So less is better, because the more you have on, when you're overdressed, you're overheated, and that's very inefficient. Dave's going to go over these form drills. Very important, particularly before a workout, so he'll get to those. Your pace, the slowest of the day should be the first quarter mile. The next slowest of the day should be the next quarter mile. So your first half mile should be the slowest of your run. If anybody ever had a camcorder on those Kenyans and Ethiopians, out the door for the start of the run, they are going so slow. These are guys that run in the 4:30 range for their marathons, and they're running 8-minute pace. I say, well, 8-minute pace so fast. Really? For someone running 4:30? That's like you guys that your pace is 9 minutes saying you're going out at 13-minute pace. It should be really, it's a bridge between sedentary and active. It's the best way to keep yourself from getting hurt, and also the best way to have your aerobic engine warm up properly. Practice the POE, perceived effort, hydration, negative split pacing. Your run, that's why I asked you guys in your journals, what was your first mile split? And it really should say what's your first half mile or quarter mile, then what was your overall pace? And if your first half mile was 8:35 and your overall pace was 9:20, that's not good. We want that flipped around. Proper cool down. Proper cool down, really important. So the end of your run should be slow again, like a bell curve, and then you want to go, and that's when you can start stretching, if you need to stretch. Get chocolate milk or some kind of electrolyte into you as fast as you can, 20 minutes, half an hour tops after your run. Get some kind of energy bar, banana, Cliff Bar in you, because that starts your recovery right there. That's why at our training runs, we have Cliff Bars there ready for you, because we want to get that recovery going right away. It's called windows of opportunity, and if you wait, you say, well, I'll get to something, and then you go to the gas station, you run into a friend, and the friend says, let's go to the city market. You go to the city market, and by the time you're actually drinking or eating something, it's 4 hours later, you are going to feel like the next day. You got to really, really get on that early on. Icing is great after a run. If you've had anything that's kind of astray, icing really great. Post, you never iced before because you don't want to numb it. You want to be, pain is a really good communicator, so you don't want to ice out the pain. And then you're going to find that, especially for your long runs, you guys, you're going to be hydrating throughout the day. And I always, as crude as it sounds, check the color of your urine. If it's still deep, deep yellow at 5 in the afternoon, you have not replenished. You say, I hydrated during the run. I was good, and I had a drink when I came back to the car. You may need to be drinking throughout the day to get that urine back to kind of a lighter yellow. Very important. You don't want to get yourself feeling faint or even disoriented. That's trouble city. Then, very important, what did I talk about earlier that needs to be done after your run? Write in your journals. Get it in there right away, because that's how you're going to learn. You're going to look for patterns. What went astray? What went right? It's not some act of God that something went right. You created that. What did you eat the night before? How much sleep did you get? What time did you get up? What was your pace for the first mile? What did you wear? Who did you run with? That all played into how you had a successful long run. And long run, again, is relative. You have marathoners that ultimately get up to 13, 14, 15. You guys are really going for cutting times that have been experienced before. You might get up to 16 or 17. Marathoners, you're going to get up to at least 20, some 21, 22, some even a little longer. So when those go really well, it isn't just the weather, it's what you did leading up to it and during it, particularly the first half hour of the run. And then the last thing I put down is get your sleep. I think it's one of the most underrated, least talked about. The more sleep you get, the more efficient you're going to be, the less likely you get injured. We got a bunch of community group runs. You should also track up. You go to that website. We have Wednesday runs. There's a Thursday group that goes out to Foxhaven. We have a Sunday run with Coach. You're all welcome to join it. I'm usually the slowest out there. You say, oh, Mark, you're not that slow. Yes, pretty doggone slow. So I'm the hyena bait, they call me, so I'm in the back. So it's a good time to ask me questions. It's Sunday morning. We usually leave from Greenberries about 6:45. Wednesday, it's the speedsters, but it's also, there's a lot of folks coming out. They're not doing speed right now. They're just running together. It's a great way to meet people. It's early in the morning, 5:30. Again, you go to the Track Club website. And if you're into trail running, there's the Schultzel Area, I think Schultzel Area Trail group there. That's another good resource if you want to get into the trails and meet some folks that are doing trails. All right.